I've heard this new definition of racism floating around that says black people and other minorities in the United States can't be racist because they lack institutional power. Now, for the most of this video, I'll be using black people as my example simply because that's what I've seen this definition tied to. That's the group I've seen this definition tied to most often, but this would also apply to any other minority. Anywho, because black people lack this institutional power within the United States, they can't be racist. When they attack somebody of a different color out of hate, the radical left typically uses a synonym for the attack like prejudice or hate or whatever, but not racism itself. I just want to briefly demonstrate how ridiculous this definition is by giving out examples. But first, look at the definition itself. Let's say me as a white dude decided to immigrate to some African country, and then some Africans beat the shit out of me simply because I was white. Now, they technically have institutional power in those countries, so they would be deemed racist. So, besides the fact that there's already that initial contradiction, I mean, it doesn't give the definition much hope. Now let's try to put this definition into terms of practicality. Let's say, well, when COVID broke out, there was a lot of anti-Asian hate crimes. People would attack Asians for absolutely no reason because they blamed them for the spread of corona. So let's say in New York City, an Asian man was stabbed by an unknown assailant. We don't know anything about well, let's assume we don't know anything about the assailant just yet. This is a hypothetical. Now, the headline runs on the article, racist attack on Asian man in New York City. But let's say further down the line, we find out that it was a black man that did it, because albeit it's usually assumed that a white man would commit the hate crime, let's just say in this situation, we find out that it was a black man. We'd have to go back, if we were to use this new definition, we'd have to go back and change the headline to say prejudiced attack on Asian in New York City or something similar. We'd have to remove the word racist. Doesn't that seem kind of ridiculous? Another example, I remember not too long ago, I saw a video of an Asian man who was confronting two black people out on the street, and a black man was filming the Asian man for his own safety. Now, the Asian man, I think he was the owner of a restaurant, just straightforwardly said on camera, "I am a racist." And he admitted it, no qualms about it, no nothing. But, like black people, Asians lack institutional power in the United States, which means we'd have to walk up to that Asian man, tell him he's wrong about himself, he doesn't quite understand, and that he's not racist. I mean, to someone who just so straightforwardly admitting it on camera for everybody to see and not giving a damn, doesn't that seem pretty farcical that we'd have to tell him that he's wrong about who he is when he admitted it on camera? Another example, let's say one minority committed genocide against another minority in the United States. Doesn't really matter in this hypothetical which two we pick. Both minorities lack institutional power, so according to this new definition, it's not racist. That doesn't that seem ridiculous? This is why I hope this definition dies. It has no rational basis in reality. Why did this definition emerge? How long has it been around? I mean, it probably became mainstream because people have to talk about race every 5 minutes nowadays, and everybody's so damn polarized. But without going on another tangent, I think it's just a holier than thou type thing. A radical left element similar to the radical right. Like Christians on the radical right, they go to the confession box at the end of every week after doing non-Christian shit. It's like they never learn. But they might look at people who are Christians and still claim to be better. It's like, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I did stupid shit, but I still believe in Christ. I'm saved. You're not. That still makes me better than you. Blah, 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 blah. They have that haughty attitude about them if you were to walk around those people. Similarly, if you look at the radical left, if you have a minority doing stupid shit and somebody who is in the so-called majority doing stupid shit, well, the minority might say, well, look at me, I'm from an oppressed class. Even though I fucked up, I'm still better than you because I can't be racist. Ha 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 ha. I literally think it's just a holier than thou type argument to make themselves feel better. But the thing is, when you try to apply the definition to just a few real world examples, it falls apart entirely, but they cling to it regardless. Same thing with the radical right in Christianity. And I want to close out this video with another statement that commonly floats around. All white people are racist, supposedly because of implicit bias. Now let's take these two statements together, and I'll show that at least one of them has to be absurd with an example. So, no, black people can't be racist, and all white people are racist. Say you have a biracial individual, half white, half black. I think most people would say that he's both racist. According to this logic, he's both racist and not racist simultaneously. Why? Well, black people can't be racist, but all white people are racist, but he's both racist, then he's racist and not racist at the same time. The logic is absolutely absurd. So, because we reach such a ridiculous conclusion, we have to conclude that one of the premises is false. And I think they would probably want to concede all white people are racist instead of black people can't be racist. And also, never mind the latter with the fact that a white child comes out of the, as soon as it comes out of the womb, it's racist. I mean, my point being is with these types of ludicrous statements, you can just think of a few real world examples and show how ridiculous the definition is. It might sound good in theory up in the ivory tower, but when you actually try to apply the definition to the real world, it falls apart entirely, just with a little bit of rational thinking. And it amazes me how many people do not see this and have to admit everything I said, that the thing about the headline, genocide, committing one minority against another isn't racist, blah, 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 in order to hold on to their definition. And it's just ridiculous. I sincerely hope rhetoric like this dies out within the next couple of years.